Welcome to Factorio Masterclass. My name is Nilaus and we're here on Aquilo. This is our first little block on Aquilo. We are so space constrained that we just want to make sure that we build a small thing and get that going, and then we can always expand. And that's good. What we're going to do today. We're going to expand to make the fluoroketone, we're going to make the science, and we're going to make the processors, as well as some of the things that can only be built here, like fusion power. We're not going to be designing the fusion power just yet, but we are going to get us the ingredients so that we can make it in the future. Right, so this block here that I made last time is, there was some iteration, some things I saw that could be better, yeah, so that's, we'll just go through the things that I made as amendments, so based on YouTube comments, based on Discord comments, that kind of thing, so thank you very much for providing feedback so we can continuously improve together. Right, and of course the updated blueprint will of course also be available to patron supporters as usual. So, what I've decided is that I actually want to have these, the heating system running on the fuel. Yes, the reason why is because it's actually a little more efficient. You take 12 of these to go in here, and of course there's some productivity and stuff that makes this more effective. But if I'm looking at this, this is producing 10 per second, while these are consuming only 2.6. So it's only consuming about 5. So I have actually an excess of 5, of 4.5 at least, solid fuel per second. So why not use that and then reserve our rocket fuel for the power, because we're going to need it for as they expand, because this power is okay, it's 150 power, but it needs to be increased as well. Right, so that's the one thing we're going to be using solid fuel. That means the blueprint for the city block is now changed to solid fuel, and this one is also solid fuel as well. We could set up both of them if you wanted to, but there's no way to sort of prioritize it easily. The second thing is that we just made a little bit of lithium, and that was just to get some things going in order for us to build the first cryogenic plant, but we need to have a little bit more. So I sacrificed 2 of the cargo bays in order to sort of make the same pattern down here. It's very, very cramped, but it does get the job done, and we are just continuously making a lot of lithium plates. Well, not a lot. And the ratio, yes, this one is using quite a lot of power, well, only 2.3 megawatt of power, and it's also a little bit short. So that's just the way it is. All these things where I'm having this mix of both efficiency and speed modules, well, later on when we've got the fusion power, we can just crank it up to just have speed modules everywhere. But I can't afford that right now, so this is a temporary thing. Last thing that was incorrect, that was missing, is that in the beginning we just made a very efficient water plant, but if we want it to run at full speed, then we have to make sure that it's 1 efficiency module and 2 speed modules in order to generate enough water to supply all of this power plant. So keep that in mind, otherwise the power plant looks like it's working, but it won't be having enough water. So with that out of the way, let's get started on the new design. Let's get that one in here, and then if we go up here, we'll just set this one up, and I'll also be making some, we'll just be filling this in, because of course, and then we can use this for design purposes, and we're also going to concrete it. So this is of course why you need to make sure that you have a constant supply of concrete and constant supply of ice platforms, because, well, you need it. Right, so what is it that we want to make in this spot? We have to start by making sort of the basics. First of all, we're going to be taking this beautiful design here. Yeah, kind of. Some kind of thing up here. That one. Let's first start by making the what's it called? The bus up here. So with the bus sorted, you can see these 2 lines are empty. They will be for the fluoroketone, the hot and the cold one. And this is what we're going to be building. So let's just mark the stuff we want to make. We want to make 1 of these, and then we want to make some of the ones. They are a little bit slower, and it'll be something like this, basically. So that's definitely 1 module we have to make. Then we have to make science, so it's another module. And oops, and this one will also be, I'm just marking this with 3 in between and hoping that that's going to be a good location. And then we need the last one, and that is There. And these will be better modules here. That's also this 3 in between. There. And 1, 2, 3. 3. And then that should also be available here. Yeah. And then I think the whole thing can be pushed somewhat further over to the other side. 2 from the side seems like a good location. There. And I'm going to need this to have a little bit more space. There. And something like this. We'll adjust it as we go along. I think that's going to be less space. Yeah. Good. Okay, so we have now done exactly what we want. This will be processors. So this is what we want. So we can also sort of see there is probably room for it. And then down here, we're going to have some hub. And then the first thing we want to do is, if we start working on all this, we're going to need some more power. So I'm just going to take this power plant, because it works. And then I'm going to stamp it down in this corner, like that. And pretty much go up here. And I'm not checking this location, because then it starts getting heating from inside. But I will do the other side as well. So this will work eventually. Let's see. So you're getting in here, and a funny thing, it doesn't actually work unless I hook it up. What I can do is I can always just do that one and that one. And as soon as this heats up, then it will be fine. There we go. And then it'll start working. Great. So now we have extra power. This is another 150 power. Let's see. Now it goes up to, well, when the other one gets going, then it'll get working. Cool. And then that leaves a little bit of room down here for construction of basically hub ingredients. There. We kind of have the idea. So let's start breaking down. We get a sense that, okay, we can get all these things done in one city block. So time to look a little bit further on each of this. We're going to start with this one, because this is the first thing we want. Let's get this. Let's see the distance here. I think the whole thing needs to go one up. It looks like it. There. Good. So this will be a storage location, and what I want to do is I want to have a single line all the way through that will then heat up everything. And there. Let's get these heated. And we also need to figure out how fast we want it, but we take our favorite beacon, the one we use everywhere, and that's going to be our baseline for this as well. That's going to be here and here. Good. So now we have pretty much what we want in terms of this. Okay, let's see. How fast do we want this to make? This is making 31.5. Let's go a little bit quicker. Okay, that's a little bit too quick. There. And that's also too much. This is now costing, yeah, this is at limit. And we're producing 36 per second. These ones continue 12 plus 12 plus 12. So this is a good balance. This is a 36. And therefore we just do. There you go. And now everything is using minimum amount of energy. Great. Now, next up is, this is going to require some inputs, and it's also going to require some fluorine. So here's the thing. I don't know where your fluorine is on this. It could be left, right, down, up, center. The thing is, this city block can either be placed on the right or the left of the original block. That's up to you. I'm putting it on my right hand side because I have oil here that I don't want it to pave over. But you can, because it's a bus, you can put it on either side. So I think that's convenient. And I'm showing here that you can bring in fluorine into the path here. And that means that it doesn't really matter where you're getting it from. It will be able to get in. And likewise here, we're gonna get you in there and there. And it's heated from the top, and that one's heated here. Good. So now we have these two items, and then we need an inbound, and you're just gonna get the last two things. 50 and 50. Interesting that this doesn't exist. You really should be going out here. Yeah, you are. Okay. That's because it's still heating up the new areas. So the new area needs to be heated. That's taking quite a bit of effort. Okay, I'm gonna get this one here, and then I am going to get it like that. Just for now. Yeah, I'm actually gonna go like this. Good. All right. What we need is we now get this in, so we get the hot out here, and that needs to go on this line. So there we go. That goes in here, and then it jumps down to the other location. And I'm actually gonna go do this. Even though it seems really silly to do this, it turns out that it's kind of the only way that it can be done. And there. So they now have the heated, and I'm also going to make sure that down here also get some heating, and it's on that's actually just gonna go all the way over because we're gonna need it. See, I don't care about using heat pipes. Now, right now it's gonna take a lot of heat and a lot of power, fuel to heat up this. That's totally fine by me. We'll get it. So now this is actually working, but it needs to be sent out. So I'm gonna send it out here because I'm trying to recycle it so that these can sort of be positioned over here so they can use the same thing. So I use the same thing multiple times here. And let's see, so this would be like that, and then it goes up and goes on this line. All good. Now then we have to figure out how that's going to be heated. That's always a little weird, but we can always do this. Okay, so that's fine, but that'll probably go in here. So I need to feed this from the other side. This is why I need to build top and bottom. This one is kind of left out. So what I'm going to do for this, I am actually going to do here. And let's get it like this. Okay. So now you're pumping it out, going over here, going up here, and then we have it on the main line. I'm not putting a storage box. I could put a storage box. It wouldn't really be a big deal. I could put it right here if I wanted to make a storage box. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. No, because I actually want it to just flow as it does now. There you go. All right, this is now the module that's done. We can go on to the next one. That means we will have the cold one feeding in from the side and the middle one here. So I'm gonna kind of sillily enough, I'm gonna do the same thing, and this is really a matter of necessity that I'm gonna do the same thing here. There, and I guess that's fine, and there, something like this. It doesn't really. These are gonna go in, and the reason why I can't just lead these over is because I'm gonna need this in here for some pickup and deliveries. So I have to sort of make them parallel, and that goes all the way down so that it's the easiest as possible, because then they are heated like this. They will also need to go up. Let's get them beacons. There we go, and some power as well. There. Okay, so power, and this is not heated. We'll just heat them like this. There we go. So it's heated now. And then we need some inbounds. What do we need inbound here? We need ice and lithium plate. 150. Copy, paste, and now you can see why I couldn't just connect these two here, because then I wouldn't be able to heat the middle one. That's how it is. Then we're kind of stuck on outputs. That's not really a big deal. We'll just do outputs like this. And here, and these will be filtered to this science. However much you want, that's up to you. I want all of it. So now the next question is, how much do we want? Like, obviously right now it's making 0.3, which is awful. I could do stuff like this, which would not even make it much better. So we're actually going to go like a little bit of combination here. And like that. So this gives us 0.68, and the power is 5 megawatts for each. That's kind of as much as I can afford to spend here. So this is the most important thing on this planet, the science. So let's get as much productivity and get the best modules in here. Later on, we can do full speed module and therefore full productivity, but not yet, because we are still constrained by power, and obviously not much is running right now. So the only thing missing is the inbound here. So let's get that in as well, and that will just go up to this location. And we are now missing there. Alright, so you're good, and you go down to also this one, and then I guess we just go in here inbound. Okay, looking good, and this one also needs to be hooked up. Right, so the last one of the things we need up here is going to be the processing units, because that's also necessary. These are just chugging along happily. If we look at it, then it's 9 or 10 per second we're using and getting 5 back. So there's a deficit of 5 cold fluoroketone per cycle, and this one will be somewhat the same. Right, again, let's start with the same pattern that we've done a million times before. That's if it's worked before, then it's going to work now again. Good. Right, this one is a little bit different. These cannot be both in and out, but this one can go in and out, so I can actually use this for what we want. And this one can also feed here. There. So this is super amazing. So we don't need to feed it from the other side, we just need to feed it here. But we still need, this goes up, and then that goes up here somewhere. I think I'm gonna go with a single connection up to this line. That one, and that one, and then we connect here. And I guess since we're gonna have a lot of stuff here, because we're gonna get these two hooked up, because then we get power, and that one. Nope, wrong way. That one. Oh. Good. So this looks good. This will be processors, and we also need an awful lot of that. You are powered here. Good. So this is all done, and then we just need some power into here. Great. And likewise with this, which will just be the same as, hold on, that's misplaced. And that's also misplaced. So everything was just misplaced. There we go. And that will be the same here. So all of this is powered. All of it is hooked up. The only thing we're missing is like this. I would love to do, but again, then we're using 9 or 10 megawatts for each. I just can't do that, unfortunately. So we're going to have to, for now, just dial it a little bit back like this, which now means it takes 3 megawatts per building. That's doable. We can survive that. I think that's fine. Okay. Well, we now have fluoroketone, hot and cold. We have science, and we have processes. Processes, well, they're not really working, so let's get that in here. This is remarkably low numbers. I think we want to just set this up a little bit up. 20 maybe? Yeah, let's set it to 20, and then the only one that's there. Because I don't want to waste all of this in inventory here. There, and the other one will then be twice as much. Otherwise it doesn't make any sense. Copy and paste. And of course, these will need to come in from other locations. There we go. So now they're working. Good. All right. So we're happy. This is working. We got science. We got processing units. Sweet. Let's use those for something. And what we're going to use it for is all the things that are unique on this planet. So we need to make fusion power. Yes, fusion power. Here, that actually needs some inbound ammonia. Then we need to get some railguns. Yes, and we need to get some... See, of course, these are not available until you spend a lot of research, but we're going to be designing it in one batch. We're also going to get this one, and you can see they need to get some broketon in here, which will be consumed. That's actually not here I want it. I want it here, because I want these to be next to each other, so that I can see that they're next to each other, these two. And then I'm also going to move that down here. Why am I moving this down here when I've already had it over here? Had it, not have. Is because I can undo this thing and upgrade it like this, and that, not that. That's definitely not that one. And we can also do that. You know, since this is a important thing, we might as well do this. This one's a little bit superfluous because we're probably only going to build one and then we're going to forget about it. So these seem to be a little bit too far from each other, so they should just be 3 from each other, because then I can drag a single line in between here. Good. So how do we get ammonia in here? Well, lo and behold, someone has prepared this in advance just for us, like that. And that goes in here, and heating and heating. And that's the whole thing here has to go one up there. There we go. That looks better, because then that can be in here. Good. And let's get heating on this little hub, like that. So this is all heated. Then the next one, how do we get that power in? Well, we're already pointed the right way. So that's gonna go, I'm gonna go here. And I kind of want it all the way down. And the reason why I want it all the way down is because I also need a box down here where we are actually going to barrel it. That's important. We need to have this barreled because I'm going to send it to other places as well for making the capture biter spawners, for example. And therefore we also have barrels built on the planet. So again, inbounds and outbounds. Here and... there. And some power everywhere. I guess we'd get some... there we go. That gets heated. And in here we can get power there and power there. Right, so all I need to do now is just hook it up. You're gonna go in here, and this one goes in and gets like that. Alright, so let's set this up. The way that it's going to be set up is that it'll be like an inbound and an outbound. Here it'll be an inbound and an outbound. Inbound, inbound, and outbound, outbound. And then we repeat this pattern for the other ones as well. So here we are. We've now hooked up these. They set up the requesters. They're set very low, maybe too low, but I just don't really want to have this here because right now the robots are struggling to deliver. I don't really care for this. You can always just set this up if you want more in these, but I want this to just run slowly. What I've also done is I've set everything up here to set it up to enable. And that means that it's enabled when this is a positive number. When is it a positive number? That goes on the red wire all the way back to the hub where we now have, exactly like we have on the other planets, we have a single constant combinator where you define how much you want of each. And then that's what you set up. And then it goes in and sort of controls all of these setups here. So this one, you can see, I want 2 of those. And also, how many do I want of that? And that just gets all this set up. And so we get control of this. We have 34 and we need to make 36 of these. No, we still need, this is how many more we want. We still want the 34 additional. That means we only have 2. Yes. This one doesn't have anything. We have 1, but we need a lot more. So clearly this needs to run for quite a while before we have enough to build our nuclear power plant. I've also put in some extra roboports because there will be a lot of roboport coverage here. If we look at the numbers, we are... oh, look at that. 2 of them escaped. I'm putting 500 logistics robots in here, and you can see that currently 170 are being used, and it seems like a pretty stable number. It's actually decreasing now. It's only 160. Well, there we go. It's between 170, 160, 170. So there's no sort of accumulation of robots here. And as soon as the hub is done, then and some buffers fill up, then it'll of course slow down. And the same power-wise, this is the most critical time power-wise because we're expanding. So there's going to be a lot of heat pipes that need heat. There's going to be a lot of power draw. So be very careful as you hook things up and keep a mindful eye on your production, because it's not easy to get Aquilo back online. Last thing I want to do is over here. We are going to go for the thing that all the other planets are yearning for. That is some foundation. So we're going to get some foundation set over here, and that will simply be a requester, a provider, and in, out, and that goes here and there, like this. And copy, paste. Yeah, some very small quantity numbers. If I do copy, paste, then it's a little bit higher numbers. But do I want to have this much? 1.4? Yeah. Let's do that for now. And then I need to get from here. And there you go. That gets us some fluoroketon in. Not a lot, but it will get a little bit in here. All the other things, they will eventually get in here, but it's going to take a while to... Yeah, these will definitely not be producing fast, but they will be producing gradually, eventually, and we'll start exporting this to other planets as we need volcanoes mainly, but maybe also a little bit to Fulgora. Okay, so this is basically the city block. I am really happy about it. What you can do, and I think that might be a good idea, is setting up a few additional locations up here. And since that one is perfect here, then we can just get a little bit more roboports when we have some idle space. I think that's a good idea generally, just to make sure that we have ample supply of this. You can also see this is blinking, so the hot fluoroketon isn't really doing much, or isn't doing enough, because we're simply consuming it too fast. That's because everything is online. This one is, well, this one's not, but this one is consuming. And now we also have some consumption over here. If you look at the consumption rate, it's 8 per second. It's not much, but it has to fill up as well this buffer, and also fill up this entire buffer here. So a lot of things have been hooked up, but I am confident that over time this will stabilize. I have tried it, and it will stabilize over time. So right now, as I said, this is the most critical point, because you are actually scaling up quite a lot of power. Have to make sure that you're okay with power. Both with solid fuel, and so here's another little detail, is the consumption rate of this location plus this location is exactly the amount of rocket fuel that's being produced. So there isn't a lot of rocket fuel left if it's running at full 100%. It should never run at 100%. It's running way below, but I'm just kind of benchmarking it to say, if this is running 100%, yes, we can keep up the water, yes, we can keep up the rocket fuel, but only barely. So that means the next thing we want to do is wait for some fusion reactors to get done, and then we're going to be designing a couple of different fusion power plants that you can apply. And once we have that, everything will be easy on Aquilo. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Of course, as usual, the updated blueprint for the first landing block is available to Patreon supporters, and of course also the new block that we've designed, which is super amazing, is also available to Patreon supporters. So thank you very much everyone who's supporting on Patreon. This is really how the channel keeps running. So thank you everyone who's supporting, whether it's a little or a lot. It's super appreciated. So thank you very much. Until next time, take care and stay effective.